Hello my strong friends. I'm making this video because a lot of you, an overwhelmingly amount of the comments were in support of me creating this video that goes over my WWE tryout experience. This is just gonna be, remember that this is my experience. If like trying out for the WWE is a goal of yours, I'm gonna give advice, let you know how I got there, and also let you know what I would suggest if you ever do end up making it down to Florida for a tryout. Now, obviously I'm not a WWE diva, so I'm probably not the ultimate best person to give you the best advice. I was joking all the time about my online, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on all my social media posts. I was joking, and it started off as a joke, but it was kind of like a serious thing where I thought like I wanted to be a WWE diva, and I would just kind of like make a pass at it and kind of joke, because I was getting into fitness and I was also getting into improv comedy. So I was like, you know, on stage acting and like getting, you know, doing some theater stuff. And I thought, you know, I was really into these two things. And I was like, the only job that exists for, this is not true, but the only job that I thought that exists to combine these two things is being a WWE diva, right? So I just kept talking about that and like sharing my experience. And my friend who worked, I believe, at Gold's Gym in Los Angeles, in Venice Beach, my friend messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, I don't know if you're joking about this, but if you're interested, I do have a contact. And so his job at Venice was just a normal gym job, but he also helped someone from the WWE scout from that gym. So he would, you know, get to know members there. He would get to know people who are coming in and out of the gym and maybe suggest like, hey, have you ever thought about trying this thing? You know, people are into fitness, they're in shape, they're probably strong and athletic. So he would scout at that gym. I don't know if he's still there. I don't believe he's still working there. But at the time, this was a couple years ago, maybe 4 years ago, he suggested that I reach out, and he asked that I put together like a resume, put together like headshots that I could send. In my fitness journey, I was still doing some CrossFit stuff at this time, and I had just finished, by the time I got to the tryout, I had just finished a bikini competition. I was like maybe 4 weeks post bikini competition after this. So yeah, I was like in really good shape. My photos looked great. I had theater experience, and so I sent everything, and on paper the scout said like, wow, this girl looks really great. Yeah, let's get her in for the next tryout. It was like, for me, it was just opportunities presented themselves to get me there. I know a lot of women that I met at the tryout who are in the indie wrestling scene, and I think even though they're pursuing it, it ends up being really difficult to get them there. I overheard and heard people talking, and even from some of the indie wrestlers themselves would say things like, you know, a lot of times they'll choose fitness models, or they'll choose regular models, doesn't even have to be into fitness that much, but they'll choose people that they can mold and teach how to wrestle. The idea being that like you can take a young girl, teach her how to wrestle, and then she'll be good to go in a couple of years. They don't always take people straight from indie wrestling. Now, we all know that a lot of the wrestlers come from indie wrestling. They go through that program because they just want to wrestle, because they love it so much. And then there's people like me who just happen to get these amazing opportunities. So that's how I got there. I would suggest, if you are interested in doing this, just be really vocal about your interests in social media. Some people, you know, will tell you, or some people don't like to do that, but had I not expressed some interest, I would have never gotten to the tryout, So it kind of started as a joke for me, but ended up turning into this really cool, like, exciting process and really cool experience that I'm sharing with you now. To give you backstory on like my audition tryout, there was maybe like 20 girls there, 20 guys. People who moved forward who are still with NXT. The only one who is still with NXT is a girl named Gianna Daddio, who hasn't made it to WWE yet, I don't believe, but she's working with NXT. She's like, from her Instagram, it looks like she's doing really awesome. So she was the only one that I can think of that is still with the WWE of all like 40 of us. It might have even been a little bit more. So yeah, that just goes to show that they bring so many people out for tryouts and then only a few of them make it. I do think Zara Schreiber ended up getting signed in that same tryout, but she's no longer with the WWE. But yeah, that was 4 years ago, and still Gianna, she was like one of the younger ones. She still has not like made it to WWE. So if you're young, if you're younger, I think maybe I was a little bit like on the old side to be there. I was like maybe 26 at the time, or 25. So that just goes to show that like she was, I think 19 or 18. They're looking to hire someone and have them for like 10, 15 years if it works out ideally, right? I recommend if you're young, don't wait, just like be vocal about you wanting to try this, and be vocal about like this being your dream, and do whatever you can to get there, like now, today. Do it now. I'll just tell you other wrestlers that were there. There wasn't like, you know, Seth Rollins wasn't like walking around hanging out with us, but we did, there were 2 NXT wrestlers on the women's side who were there helping with all the mat stuff, all the ring stuff. Carmella was there, who has gotten a lot bigger since then. Carmella was there helping us with all the ring stuff. She was like our kind of mentor there. And Ashley is her real name. Her wrestling name is, I can't quite remember, because they didn't have these characters that they're working with now. Carmella was just starting to be Carmella at the time. So I will put Ashley's wrestling name there. I forget completely. Sorry, Ashley. So yeah, they were they're helping us with everything, helping manage the tryout. There were 5 coaches there helping us, each doing a different thing. So the format of the tryout, it's over 3 days, I believe. You do gym stuff, so in like a weight room, gym stuff, to kind of test your endurance and fitness. You do ring stuff, obviously, so you're in the ring doing all kinds of crazy things. And then you do your promo. So that is essentially what the tryout is made up of, nothing more. So if you kill it in those 3 things and they like you, that's very important that they like you. I think you would be golden and have perhaps a successful tryout. One note about the WWE as a company, they're very, very, very buttoned up, which may sound surprising, but it's a very, like, very formal culture. When you meet someone who's been there, hello, sir, hello, ma'am. Very like that. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Like, it's very, very formal. You want to, they like have this culture where you address everyone in a very professional way. And that's something that was a little bit surprising to me, and definitely outside of my comfort zone, because I don't normally talk to people like that, even in any work setting that I was in. But keep that in mind. So if you can get in the habit of doing that, you're gonna be good, and go out of your way to try and introduce yourself to other people that you may see there. I did get the opportunity to meet Dusty Rhodes, and this was like a few months before he actually passed away. So that was also a cool experience. So go out of your way if you see someone walk in the room, if it's appropriate, to go out of your way and walk and like introduce yourself. So yeah, it's very buttoned up, very like respectful culture to people who are teaching you. And that's something that I definitely did not expect at all. So the gym stuff, if we go into the gym portion of the training, I was doing CrossFit at the time, which is probably the best way to be prepared if you're doing lifting, getting strong, and making sure that your endurance is key. If I would go there now, I would not be as prepared. 100% would not be as, like, my cardio wouldn't be as good to be able to keep up. So I recommend training like high intensity interval training hard. That was like the hardest training of my life preparing for this, in regards to like getting my breathing straight. So I was definitely prepared in the fitness side of things. That wasn't a problem with me. I think if you're doing CrossFit, you'll be fine. So the gym time was really easy for me, especially at that time of my life. Most of the girls could keep up. I don't think it was that huge of a portion. It was more so seeing like, can you lift anything, or can you, you know, do you have the fitness to keep up? Obviously those are things that they can mold you, but they're also like kind of seeing if you're somewhat athletic as well. Speaking of athleticism, in the ring is going to be probably the biggest portion of the tryout and like the most fun portion of the tryout. I would suggest, and I did this, I would suggest finding a wrestling group or facility to where you can go and learn how to roll, how to take a bump, how to run the ropes, and how to especially take a bump. They're not gonna assume that you know how to do all this stuff, especially if you're aren't coming in, like, aren't scouted from like indie wrestling scene. You don't have to do this. They're gonna teach you how to do it and they're gonna help you, but taking a bump is probably one of the weirdest and scariest and non-instinctive things that you can do to your body. It's just like a thing that your body doesn't want to do instinctively. It definitely doesn't want to fall on your back, but this is something that I would suggest everyone to go learn and practice. Luckily I did, and when I got there, some of the other girls clearly had not, and the idea of doing a flip bump for a lot of them was terrifying, and I totally understand, because a flip bump, you're literally flipping and landing on your back. You're doing a front flip with one foot and swinging on your back. So I totally understand, like, that is a very scary thing. There were girls in the ring who were like crying, literally crying, and I could have been one of them had I not already done training at a facility before then. It was just one training session for me, and I think it prepared me more than what I would have been had I not done that. So I would recommend to do that. I don't know if they would recommend you to do that, but it might be nice to just have some experience falling on your back before you get into the tryout. It just might make you feel better, and definitely make you feel better whenever you're actually at the tryout. And then the last thing, probably, I think I said the ring time is the most important thing, but the promo is gonna be the most important thing. For me, I think this is where I royally fucked up. The promo, because I wasn't really comfortable with shooting like a legit wrestling promo and creating my character, because the process of getting there was really quick, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to show a range of emotion, so I did somewhat of a more dramatic monologue. I think that was a mistake. It was definitely a mistake, because I wish I would have come up with a character, and I wish I would have gotten like comfortable with that character and then done my dramatic monologue in something that could have like cut as a real wrestling promo. And I think I was successfully showed a range of emotion, but one of the notes that I got back, the feedback that I got was like I didn't say my name, which within this monologue didn't really make sense to say my name. So yeah, I would recommend to shoot your promo as if you were a wrestler and you're shooting a promo, whereas like you're saying like, I'm Meg and I'm gonna fucking rock your world. Okay, maybe don't say fuck, because it's a very family friendly thing. See, I just wasn't made for it. So yeah, work on your promo and try to study promos of other wrestlers, and maybe watch Glow, because you guys know that I love that. That's a little bit old school and like maybe poor acting, where they've improved in the past, but yeah, work on your promo and like nail that, because that is gonna give them, I think it's a lot easier to teach the wrestling moves and teach someone how to take a bump than it is to teach someone how to get comfortable on camera and how to act. So if you can nail your promo, which I would say Zara and Gianna, the people who had moved on from that tryout, they definitely stood out among the rest of us. And in the promo facet, like there were definitely, and I'm sure now they're killing it, or Gianna's definitely killing it, just being a good wrestler and having so many years under her belt. But maybe there were other people who were more athletic than those two, but they just crushed the promos, and that was what really like prepared them to, or that was what really that was what really made it so that they moved on. So work on your promo and kill it, and study promos of other wrestlers. I definitely just didn't, I think at that time I wasn't as comfortable on camera as I was now. So if I would go back, I would do a different promo and I would practice it and I would make it bomb. But I didn't do that, and now I'm a YouTuber. I'm sure a lot of people have different questions on like my experience, more specific questions, but that's like an overview of what the tryout is like. They fly you down to Florida, pay for your hotel. You will share a hotel room with one of the other tryoutees, and they handle everything. They feed you there, they hook it up. It is a really cool experience, and if you ever get the opportunity to do it, I'm sure like it's a dream for anybody to get there, especially if you're a wrestling fan. And I'm lucky enough to have had the experience, and I'm thankful for that. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. And I was told by the scout who had my friend had originally reached out for me. I was told by him, he's like, I don't think you're gonna go. I don't think it's gonna work out like the day after the tryout. And that was kind of a bummer to like end this cool weekend with the info that I was not gonna move on like immediately without like any deliberation seemingly going on, but you know, I did my best. I will say if I had made it through, my life would be completely different. I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. They are very like your social media will be controlled essentially by the WWE, not entirely, but you're your character all the time, and I probably wouldn't be able to have something like this. And I wouldn't have the time because it's a full-time job. I think they do get paid quite well. They make, you know, pretty good money even starting, especially for doing something so cool as that. And obviously being in the WWE presents itself to a wealth of opportunity after. So I'm sure if I find that I didn't make it, and I've had cool experiences because I wasn't in that experience, but girl, you know, I'm just trying to make myself feel better because I couldn't hack it. But yeah, that's my experience from the WWE. If you guys have any questions specifically, let me know and I can try to answer them down below and maybe give some advice. I'm not the best person to give advice because I didn't make it, but I did see what it was like to do the tryout, and let me tell you, it was awesome. So I hope you guys can make it there one day, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. I do fitness videos if you're new and coming from like WWE family. I do fitness videos. I'm a powerlifter and I do like talk about strength. So subscribe if you want to see some of those. I have been filming and trying some WWE Diva workouts, which they're really cool because they're obviously so in shape. I'm doing Sasha Banks very soon. So subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.